Have you guys checked out the In My Feels podcast with JRE and Emily Heidel? It's a new podcast that launched at the end of 2019 that has exclusive, in-depth, and emotional interviews and ASMR segments with your favorites like BM of Card, Amber from FX, One Team, Samuel Kim, and many, many more influencers and acts in the K-pop realm. You can listen on any podcast platform, and premium followers of In My Feels on the Himalaya app can even enter their ticket and signed album giveaways, as well as watch full-length videos of the interviews and ASMRs. If you're looking to fangirl on another podcast, make sure to check out In My Feels with JRE and Emily Heidel right after you're getting your fill here. All right. Back into the swing podcast.
It's okay if we're a little rusty.
That's fine.
The world is collapsing.
Doing our best. All right. Let's talk about rain if it's the last thing we do.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to a very special episode. Yes. A first.
A first of several
Yes.
planned.
Yes. A first in that we are tackling a career today that is big enough that it will need 2 episodes.
That's right.
It's very exciting.
The very first 2-part deep dive.
And it's about one person.
Mm-hmm.
One
Just
person.
one person.
This all it's come together so nicely in that this one person was on our minds already the past couple of weeks. And then they celebrated a momentous career milestone of 19 years since debut.
Yeah.
And they also joined TikTok and opened a whole generation's eyes
To their beauty and their grace
and
their perfect face.
Who is this perfect specimen that we're talking about today?
It's Rain!
Rain!
We're gonna do 2 episodes about Rain!
2 whole Rain episodes!
I'm so excited! I've been researching this all week.
Yes, Angelica did. Today, I feel like Angelica is going to be taking the lead because real talk, I had a rough week. And I'm just going to be following along. I watched things. I have opinions.
Yes.
But the majority of the deep dive was done by you. And I just want to make sure you get the credit for
Well, I appreciate that. I honestly enjoyed every minute. I texted you earlier this week. Because we had talked about doing a Rain deep dive before. And then Rain joined TikTok and I was like, I love. And I texted you and I was like, I can't wait to learn everything about him. So I did my darndest to do just that. And I've just never been so detailed with a deep dive. So I'm sorry, Shiny and EXO, but you've not been replaced. I've just put a little more work into this one, mostly because I really didn't know that much about him.
Right.
Like, I knew important details and many songs, but
there's a lot more to say. So we should start with our very basics: names, birthdays.
Yes.
Who is this person?
Okay, Rain, also known as B, which is the Korean word for rain. His name is Jung Ji Hoon, and he was born on June 25th, 1982, which makes him 37 years old.
Yes.
Before we even begin, he's all over social media. His TikTok is at rain_XIX. His Instagram is at rain_oppa. And at Twitter, he's at 29rain, like the number 29. Rain.
Yes.
So he's everywhere. You can see his beautiful face as much as you want. He's from Seosan, South Korea. And we've been saying this all week, he is everything.
He's everything.
He's a singer, a songwriter, a dancer, an actor, a producer, a husband, and a father of 2.
He's the best.
He's everything.
He's everything. And he's like, several times I messaged you while watching like performances, like he is the epitome of what a pop star is.
Yeah.
Like the presence and the gravitas and the like, just everything that he is. It's so important. He makes me 12 years old.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
And it honestly, like, we're going to get more into this as we continue, but it really doesn't matter what he's doing. Like, if he's being cute or if he's being sexy or if he's being sad or if he's being, like, it doesn't matter, but I am melting.
Yes. Just a puddle.
Yeah.
Just a puddle all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you also said, it can't go in the title because the Unicode isn't supported, but raised hands emoji is like all there is to say about most of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like raised hands emoji.
If I could draw that emoji, it would be my only notes. Okay, so let's talk about some statistics up at the top, and then we can share our like personal experiences.
Oh, sure,
with
yes.
Rain. Okay, so statistics, just to give you an idea of like, if you don't know who this person is, you're thinking, why are you giving him 2 episodes? Like, who is this guy and what's his deal? Well, for one, put some respect in your mouth because this is a 19-year career we're going over today. Yeah. He has 7 studio albums, 2 EPs, 2 compilation albums, 33 singles in Korean, Japanese, and Chinese, 24 music videos, 4 concert DVDs, 3 documentaries, and 117 awards that are domestic and international music and film.
Wow.
So you better listen up. So we got a lot to cover.
Wow.
So what was your connection to Rain before we dive in, before you started this, or before we start this?
I feel like I was trying really hard to like remember this earlier in the week and it just like wasn't coming to me because I knew that I knew about Rain and I'll come up later when I remembered what I knew about Rain. Yeah. But like it was like he was a person that I knew existed. And then a couple of years ago, you got a bunch of bootleg K-pop DVDs in Chinatown. And we must have known enough about Rain for you to buy it.
To have bought his, yeah.
So we watched it at a sleepover one night and it was great. It was everything. But yeah, I don't know. I always just sort of like kept Rain at a weird, not a distance, but like on that idol pedestal.
Yes.
That like a Hyuna belongs on, where you're just like, that person is like, I don't know I don't have the words to describe.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like when we first got into K-pop, he released music shortly after that. So we like definitely knew who he was because he was on the like current K-pop landscape when we got on board. And I knew that he was well established. I think I knew him as like the Usher of Korea. Right. Even though in doing all this research, people seem to equate him more with Justin Timberlake. I can see both arguments. Anyway. So I like knew who he was, but I never took the time I never bought any of his music. Right. I never like took the time to even learn his real name or listen to his speaking voice or, I don't know, see him do anything other than his like sexy Rain thing. Right. But that day in Chinatown was like perfect. That was one of my favorite. I just have to tell the story. Please. Because it's such a good story. But I went for a walk in Chinatown several years ago. And I had just like, it was just a nice day. And I had like, there was a festival going on and I'd stopped by a bakery and I like walked by this store that was just like a long hallway that had just boxes and boxes of DVDs. And what caught my eye was a Descendants of the Sun DVD. Oh, wow. Because it was like a bootleg version or like a bootleg like sleeve of the Descendants of the Sun. And I was like, oh, does this have like K-dramas? So I started looking through and the like young shop assistant came out and was like, oh, you have like tons of stuff in here. We have like concert DVDs. So I was like, oh, great. And then I walked in and at the back of the store was this like older woman all alone, singing very loudly and slightly off key into a karaoke microphone and like swaying and like having a great time. And so I just started looking through all of the K-pop DVDs. I found the Rain one. I found what I thought was a 2 p.m. one and what I thought was an A-Pink one.
No, it's an FX one.
Oh, FX. That's right.
Yes.
And so as I'm looking through, I asked the shop assistant and I was like, oh, are these country locked, or can I play them anywhere or whatever? Like, how much do they cost? She was like, oh, I don't know, but I'll check. So I'm still looking. And then all of a sudden, like right next to my ear, I suddenly hear, they work anything. $5. The woman had appeared by my shoulder screaming into the karaoke microphone the answers to my questions. And when she saw that I had Rain in my hands, she like lit up and she told me all about like, oh, Rain, like he's such a big deal. Like, you know, he's married. He married the most beautiful woman in Korea. Everyone was talking about it. And she like talked my ear off as we walked to the register. And it was the best $5 I've ever spent. Wherever she is, I hope that woman's doing okay. I think about her every once in a while. Because that's a dream, right? Like, I would love to own a shop where I can just sit in the back and sing into a karaoke microphone.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much my only relationship with Rain.
And we saw him.
Yes. And then we saw
the Korea
him.
Times Music Festival a couple of years ago. And that was great. It was great to see him. But again, and honestly, he has only put out like 3 things in the past couple of years.
Yes.
So it's not crazy that we didn't like go back and get into Rain before.
He hasn't put out a full album since we've been into K-pop.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll call that as our excuse. But damn it, I know everything about him now.
So we should describe him before we get into it.
We usually try to describe someone's face. Obviously, he's a solo artist, so we don't have to like compare him to members. I at first had a very difficult time describing him because I was like, I don't know, he's just hot.
Right.
And he also like, we've said this on the podcast before, like he kind of looks like Juno from 2PM, like kind of looks like him. I also think Jin Young from GOT7 has like from certain angles looks like Rain. So there's like other faces in the K-pop world that you could attach. But he has a very strong masculine face. He has like a square angular jaw. And at certain angles, he looks like he has a chin dimple, but I don't think he does.
No, I think his chin is just kind of like
his
flat.
chin is flat. Yeah.
So
his chin is like square and flat.
Yes.
Yeah. But he has really big features. Like his eyes are big, his ears are big, his chin is big, his lips are big, his brows are big.
Eyebrows, big ol' eyebrows.
And his brows his eyes are like kind of wider set. So he's has a very big face. He has monolids, which will come up in a minute from like when he started. That was a big deal. And he has, you were saying his lips, like he has really big lips.
And his lip corners turn up super high. Yeah,
they turn up really high. He has a really deep Cupid's bow. And they're just like always pouty.
And when he smiles big,
so big.
He gets good eye smiles when he smiles so big with his big mouth. And he's also just like a big boy.
Yeah, he is big. Like he's tall and he's like beefy.
Yes. He's one of those like naturally beefy people. Like there are a lot of early music videos where it's not like he has like rock hard abs.
Yeah,
but he's like Shonu. Like Shonu has never had like abs because he's just like a big. He's just a big boy. And Rain is just a big boy too.
Yeah, he's like definitely buff.
Yeah,
obviously.
no, yeah.
But like, and his, buffness goes through different phases throughout his career. But there are many music videos where he's like, oh, his belly looks a little soft. So he's just a big boy.
He's just a big boy.
He's just a big boy. And Shonu owes him his life.
Yes.
His life and his career.
That's something that I texted when you first suggested, like, can we do an episode about Rain someday? Like, he's important enough, right? And I was like, oh my God, of course he's important. Like, anyone that has inspired our current idols absolutely deserves a deep dive. And I said, Shonu owes his life to Rain.
So true.
And it's true.
It's true.
So does most of 2PM. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
He's important.
I mean, I feel like you could make an argument that many subsequent JYP artists owe their lives and careers to Rain.
Yeah. But also more descriptions of like Rain, his voice is like very gravelly and like kind of like breathy, but he's like, if he's not rapping, which I hate when he raps, it's like breathy R&B kind of like.
He's a tenor. He has like a lower voice, but he does have a really nice falsetto, which he does in those like R&B runs. And it's funny because like we'll talk about it when we get into his career, but he does rap. But JYP has repeatedly said like he immediately knew that Rain was going to be a star, and he was like, I instantly loved his voice and was like constantly trying to get him to sing more. But he thought he was a bad singer and needed to be a rapper. But he was like, but I knew it. I just knew.
Right.
So he has like a husky voice.
It's so husky and like gravelly, and it like sounds like, I don't know, it
sounds
like
like
sounds like he's been sick and like, ugh.
His heart just hurts so much.
But also, yeah, his general vibe for the vast majority of his career is like an Usher-esque like R&B singer, in that he did cool fancy footwork dances and like big dances, jumping, and like wore big pants, and also did like body rolls and ripped his shirt in the rain.
Yeah, and like a lot of like crotch grabs and pelvic thrusts. Like I think for the first part of his career, Usher is a much more accurate comparison, because I do think he had like real deep R&B vibes.
Oh yeah,
where in a way that like Justin Timberlake has always leaned more pop.
For sure.
And the later end of his career gets a little bit more in that direction. But yeah,
I think that, and then just some things that we wrote down.
Some Rainisms.
We called them Rainisms, and you'll find out why that's funny later if you don't know already. And these are like the things that Rain made a signature.
Yeah.
Or that
iconic Rain things.
that were part of the vast majority of every comeback he ever had. And the first, and I think arguably the most important, is the sunglasses.
Yes.
Rain wears, there's a huge chunk of his career where he wears multiple sunglasses
throughout the song.
Yes.
There are songs where he has sunglasses choreography.
Right.
Of taking them off or putting them on or moving them around, whatever.
Right. And then if you watch like Rain concerts or whatever, like the way that he would like exert his power over the crowd is to like touch the sunglasses, to take them off or to put them back on, and it like makes people go insane. And he has this fucking crooked smirk that comes with the sunglasses removing or putting on,
And such a good
and it's
wink.
deadly. Oh, and his wink, holy shit.
And he like bites his lip.
Oh, the lip biting. Like I said, he's a star. He like knows he's a star.
He's a
he knows
star.
exactly what to do. He's an idol for sure. Okay, next thing on the list is vests.
Yeah.
So many kinds of vests.
So many kinds of vests.
Military vests, denim vests,
Britney Spears-esque vests.
big leather shoulder pad vest. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter the vest, but he had to have the guns out.
Yeah.
Suns out, guns out. And it's funny.
And a little bit of the abs too.
yes, little tummy.
He loves
piece.
chest.
Yes.
Loves cleavage.
Yeah. It was
A vest gives him everything he wants.
right. It's all the things. Also belts.
Yeah. Really big belt buckles. And like multiple belts at once.
Yeah, and like they're strappy and they're kind of falling down, and they sort of make like
or they have like a little
unit.
fanny pack, or they have a little fringy thing, or like
and then on the same accessories, Rain loves accessories.
Yeah,
honestly,
he loves accessories.
because gloves and hats are also very important. At least one glove, if not two gloves, or multiple gloves, or like
hockey gloves, fingerless gloves, leather gloves, doesn't matter the kind of glove.
cowboy hat, baseball hat.
Fedora, absurdly large feather in the hat.
Yes. All of these things.
All of the hats.
And then the other thing that we'll note when it comes into the discography, but what I think one of the funniest Rainisms is the heavy breathing. You will hear that many Rain songs include a lot of so much. It's like a crazy amount. There's a whole song where the whole breakdown is just breath.
The chorus is just that. There's a mama performance where he's just, for like, I swear to God, the first minute of the performance is just him breathing.
But it's part of the shtick and it works.
People love it.
Okay, so I feel like we've got it on the table. This is who we're going to get into.
Yes.
So let's...
The last tidbit is that his fans are called The Cloud.
The Cloud.
We talked about this when we talked about our fandom episode way back in the day. They're called The Cloud because the cloud brings the rain.
Adorbs.
He's from way back in the day, so their fan club is simple. It's just silver.
Yep.
And they're really cute. He does have a light stick now. It's very, very simple, and it didn't come out for like many, many years.
Because he's from balloon generation.
Exactly. But they didn't just use silver balloons. They used umbrella-shaped balloons, and they're so cute.
Oh my God.
If they don't have balloons, you'll also see in later performances, they will hold silver pom-poms.
Oh, cute.
Because it's like a little silver cloud. Okay, so that's all that we need to know. Here we go.
Yes.
So Rain grew up like very poor. His mom died when he was 18, and it was like immediately after his first original debut.
Yes.
Which was in a boy band called Fan Club. In May of 1998, 16-year-old Jung Ji Hoon debuts as a rapper in a 6-member boy group. Their first album was self-titled, so it was just called Fan Club, and their song was called Kumo Tajaso, and it's a cover of Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping from 1997.
Adorable. I guess. I'll be real. I really struggled to get through the fan club stuff. Like, struggled.
Yeah. He's very adorable, but it's not great.
And also, Rain was terribly underutilized in this group, if you ask me. He gets like almost no screen time and no lines. Like they clearly didn't know who the best looking members of this group was.
I absolutely agree. He was the maknae of the group, and he was one of like 2 or 3 rappers in it. So he usually just got a line. Like he's totally underutilized. And they like weren't very successful. I honestly couldn't even find information. I couldn't find information about what company they were under. I couldn't even find the name of their second album. And I couldn't even find the singles off of that album until you sent me one.
I stumbled upon one of them. It was called Midsummer Night's Dream. It's in, we obviously made a Rain playlist for this. It's in there now. But this music video was wild because the premise is that like this creepy guy like lures a bunch of girls onto a boat, and then Fan Club is in a different boat, and then they try to do like a silent movie like, hey, get away, criminal, and like they keep putting like titles on the screen and it says like despair, and then like people, and then intercut with Fan Club like shirtless and so skinny on the beach, and they're just like dancing with these girls, and it's like the craziest music video, and the song like kind of sucked. But Rain has like this half ponytail, half pony anime hair that's like
spiky
super
bun.
crazy.
He has a little spiky bun.
There's another song of theirs I want to play a clip of because I have something to say about it. I think it was from their second or whatever.
I don't know.
Who knows? But a later, before they disbanded album, and the song was called Baby. Anyway, when I watched this music video, I wrote, Baby is the worst of everything of this era of K-pop. I really didn't enjoy it because it sounded like a worse version of 50 other things that already weren't that good. Like, and it's nothing special. They're wearing the same like big pajamas, and like there's bad special effects, so they're trying to do like constellations behind people, and like
it's just not great. It's just not great. Like first generation wasn't great to begin with, and this is like not the cream of that crop. So they released their second album, which again I couldn't even find the title of, much less like which one of those songs was the single off of it. But that got out in June of 1999, and then very shortly after they disbanded. There's no real explanation for why they disbanded, so I don't know. That chapter's closed, I suppose.
That's fair. That's all you need to know.
But after that, his mom passed away from like diabetes related complications. And I brought up the fact that he grew up very poor earlier because he has stated that his mom probably would have survived and been able to manage her diabetes if they could have like afforded her health care. And so he is now, not a silver lining, but as a like perhaps more positive note, he is an amazing humanitarian and he gives a lot, particularly for kids. So like he's all kinds of UN ambassadors and he gives away a ton of money, invests, builds schools, does all kinds of stuff. Anyway, that same year, he is recruited by JYP in 2000. He becomes a trainee and a backup dancer for JYP.
Of course.
Who states that he always knew Rain was a star. Apparently, I just have to point this out because it's absolutely ludicrous and I couldn't even believe it.
Right.
Before he got recruited by JYP, he had auditioned for several other companies.
Yes, I was going to ask when we would get to this part.
Who specifically turned him down. They said, your dancing is great and your singing is fine, but you have monolids.
Yeah.
So you don't
Plastic
make the
surgery, you're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
So he said no. He didn't change his face. His face has always looked the same. You can watch those terrible fan club music videos.
He looks truly the same. He's just
He
little.
looks absolutely the same. So instead, JYP took him as is because as is was perfect. And he made his debut on... Oh, wait. All right. We have to clear something up before we announce his debut.
Right, because we
just had to take a pause.
Had a thought
to Google something because his debut day is April 24th, 2002. That is the day of his debut stage, which I believe was on Music Bank. It's in the playlist.
And the album came out in May.
The album came out on May 13th. It was called Bad Guy, and it was a full studio album. However,
but this was 2002.
That's 18
And that's 18 years. So we're thinking that in his Instagram post, that Rain is like thinking about his debut like Korean age.
Yeah.
And is saying my career is now 19 because 18 years have passed. And it just suddenly my brain was like, wait a second, 2002 is 18 years ago. I'm not crazy.
Now he's in his 19th year.
But the way that he phrased it, because he wrote 19 specifically.
Exactly. All right. He confused us, but we had to clear it up in case y'all thought we couldn't do math.
Right. Because we said 19 at the beginning because Rain said 19, but now we're like, wait a second. Okay.
He's in his current 19th year. It's fine. I have not lost any respect for Rain.
Okay, so
even though he threw me off my game.
Okay, so let's get into this debut.
Okay, this was a full studio album, and the song was sometimes called Bad Guy, sometimes called Bad Boy.
The Korean is like Bad Man.
Well, there you
So
go.
here it is.
This album has 11 songs on it. 9 of them are by JYP, and he released 3 singles off of it. So Bad Man, I suppose, is the first one. The album overall sold 143,414 albums in the first year, which was pretty good for 2002. So this was like this. People liked this right away.
I have my thoughts about Bad Guy. Or Bad Guy is what it's written
usually,
as
in English it's usually
anyway,
Bad Guy.
my thoughts about it are that this is a good song, but spoiler alert, there will be a lot of potential JYP slander in this episode because I don't have patience for him. But JYP is singing like all of the like echoes and ad-libs and all the harmonies in the chorus of this song, and it just like annoys me because it's just like, this isn't about you, JYP, but everything is about him.
Everything's
and
about
so
JYP.
like I like the stages of this better because he's lower on the backing track.
Yeah.
So you can hear Rain. But that was like one of my, as soon as I turned it on, I was like, JYP, why are you in here?
Yeah, and there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of
that because while Rain was with JYP, like I made note of how many songs were composed by JYP. Like, Rain doesn't start having creative control over his own music for a long time. But the debut stage of this song is perfect. There's fan chants, there's screams, there's it's great.
Yeah, the music video concept is he breaks out of prison.
He cheats on his girlfriend and then gets thrown in prison and
I feel like it's a confusing thing because the girl saying how could you cheat on me is in the audio of the song. So it's also in the music video, but in the music video they're implying that he's a felon on the run.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend's you cheated on me. And I'm but it looks like he committed a crime. Anyway, he steals clothes off of a mannequin and they show the mannequin's chest being revealed slowly in a way that's kind of funny.
Yeah, he dances his way out of prison, and it's a
with
5-minute long
chonky highlights.
Yeah, with chonky highlights, and it's a 5-minute long music video, and he loves those. So
yes.
Strap in because there's a lot of them. He released 2 other singles from this album, the Handshake and Instead of Saying Goodbye. Instead of Saying Goodbye is sometimes titled Instead Say Goodbye, which means the exact opposite of Instead of Saying Goodbye, but it's fine. I don't know which one is which.
Right.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Instead of Saying Goodbye is a fan song.
Yeah, and I found it every version of it I found was a little bit different. The music video is slower and has totally different instrumentation. And then when he does it on stage, he kind of just yelled it. I couldn't figure out what the deal with that song was. And then Handshake is just a pretty rip your shirt ballad, and he's literally shirtless at Incheon Airport, dancing in front of the windows. But there's not really, that's a debut album, though.
That was a debut album, and it was very well received. People loved it. The fans were on board right away. All of those music videos and stages are in the playlist, so check them out. In 2003, the next year, he made his acting debut in a show called Sangdu Let's Go to School. It was a KBS show that ran from September to November. It has 16 episodes, and it was very, very popular. It had 20 to 40% viewership, and it was the number one viewed drama of the time. It has an absolutely insane plot. I think that it ends sadly, but I don't really know for sure. There's prison and gigolos and debtors and leukemia. Rain plays a gigolo.
Whoa.
Rain is a guy who ends up with a daughter and has to be a gigolo to make money to pay for her leukemia treatments. So it's pretty wild. But it won 10 awards. He won the KBS Drama Award for Best New Actor and the Nedison Award. And he also won a Baeksang Arts Award for Most Popular Actor. So right off the bat, he establishes himself as a triple threat, which is wonderful. That will definitely continue throughout his career. And I'll just make quick notes of his acting career or screen career. All right. October 16th, 2003, he releases his second album, Rain 2, How to Avoid the Sun. And the number one single off of this was How to Avoid the Sun. 많은 사람들 속에서 웃고 얘기를 나누면서 잊어보려 했지 넌 또다시 눈물이 흘렀어 태양을 피하고 싶어서 아무리 달려봐도 This song went straight to number one.
Yes.
It had 2 versions. One of them is an acoustic guitar version. And his first album, I just want to remind you, sold 140,000 albums in 1 year.
Right.
This album sold over 160,000 copies in just 1 month.
Okay.
So, boom, exponential growth. Everybody loves Rain. How to Avoid the Sun is hugely popular, and it will come back up later on in his career.
And this is the debut of the sunglasses.
Yes.
The sunglasses are very important in the choreo for this song. And it's how to avoid the sun. I mean, you need
obviously
sunglasses.
Yeah.
But the sunglasses will continue from ever on. And yeah, he's wearing like a tiny ripped tank top, like with little, I wrote angsty tummy because like in all those stages, he has like this little,
just a little like
tummy.
belt of tummy.
But he's so angsty.
He's so angsty. He's wearing like a leather jacket, a low cut ripped tank top that is like perfectly ripped, just a little bit shorter than all of his backup dancers for that little tum. He has like very baggy pants, leather jacket, gloves. He's rocking it. Yeah. He also released a second single off of this called You Already Knew. It's a little bit more of, this is like also sort of a fan song, I guess.
I was wondering, I wrote, because I didn't look it up. So I was wondering if you knew if this was, I said like, this music video looks cheap. Are these drama clips?
Yes.
Because it looked like drama clips and it looked like him getting dressed at concert. Like it just looked like compilation footage of what Rain did this year.
Exactly.
But it came across very, very cheap. Like all the footage like looks kind of janky.
Absolutely. That's what I thought of it too. It's like there's like behind the scenes footage of him like filming things and like concert footage. There's behind the scenes footage of like photo shoots, but then there are also clips from
the drama.
Yeah.
It's
so I think it is, maybe it was on the soundtrack of Sangdu. No, it came out afterward.
So yeah, it must have just been like, here's what Rain did this year.
I guess so. Anyway.
That was 2003.
That was 2003. Also in 2002, 2003, he was a host for Music Bank. The next thing he did was, again, an acting role. From July to September of 2004, he starred in a KBS rom-com called Full House. There are 16 episodes, and this is considered to be a pioneer of K-drama rom-coms. And it was like, at the time, and I think still celebrated as like one of the big Hallyu waves, like that got people to pay attention even from abroad. The finale had a 42% viewership, and it was aired in 15 different countries, including Mexico and Algeria. And in the Philippines, it had a 52% viewership. So like this show was everywhere.
Isn't that the first that drama you were watching at one point?
I've never watched Full House.
What was that? I'm sorry for this aside. There was like a drama that you like started at one point and it was like older and it like a girl had to like move. It was one of those like someone has to move with someone because of a misunderstanding.
That is this show. But I thought you started that show.
No, you did. And you told me about it.
Did I?
Yes.
Well, if it was this one, I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But despite my memory lapse, it won 5 different awards. He, in particular, won like an excellence and a popularity award from the KBS Drama Awards. And then right after that show finished, again on October 16th, but this time 2004, he releases his third album, It's Raining. And the lead single off of this was called It's Raining. But that's perhaps, since we're doing 2 episodes, I guess I'll say his most successful song from this half of his career.
So we'll save it for the end.
So we're going to use that as our random game for this particular episode. But just some statistics for it. It was released the song It's Raining was released in September before the album came out, and it went to number 1 in 7 different countries. This is the album that cemented his success as like a top musical act in South Korea. It sold over 1 million copies in 7 different countries. And this is the first album that he has with his English name. So before this, his previous albums were under B, and now he's debuting this name of Rain.
That makes sense for like every, title that comes after.
All of the titles that come after. So this one has 15 songs, 3 different singles. It's a little bit more of like a hip hop vibe to the whole thing. But again, like most of it is written by JYP. And the second single he released, which I do want to play a little clip of. I do too,
because I need to talk about this one.
Yeah, this one is called I Do.
So this is what I wrote on my journey while I was watching I Do. I wrote, oh, pictures on an iPod, because it's.
I wrote that too!
And then I wrote, this is my favorite so far. Wait, I changed my mind. I can't tell. Dance break is crazy. They aren't showing the feet. Stage sweater equals good. Because I went back and forth with this song where I felt like I really liked it. But then again, there is like a JYP doing like a weird harmony that's like kind of dissonant that I don't like on the chorus that's like too loud. And like it kept making me I couldn't decide if I liked the song or not. And then the dance break like it doesn't fit in any way musically. And then I was annoyed because they were clearly doing cool fancy footwork, like they lift up Rain by his shirt and then obviously he's doing the glidey feet. They don't show the feet. They don't show his feet at all in the music video, and he's clearly doing cool feet. I don't understand.
I like this song. I thought the music video was really cute. It starts out with him like trying to film a video on a camcorder in his messy room.
Sponsored by Apple. There was like so many
there
Apple
was a
products.
lot of tech. And in the stages, you can appreciate all of the fancy footwork. And they do lift him up by the shoulders, and then he like steals a hat from his backup dancers, who then reproduces a hat almost immediately. But yeah, this was his second biggest hit in Asia. They did a remix of it with a Thai singer named Panuda. And this album was the fucking shit. It was everywhere. And this is like, okay, Rain is here and he's not messing around.
Great.
So, to celebrate this absurd success, he goes on his very first tour from January 2005 to February 2006 and is called the Rainy Day Tour. There were 14 concerts in 8 countries, mostly in Asia, but the finale was at the small stage of the Madison Square Garden, which seats 10,000 people. And this show had JYP, JoJo, P. Diddy, and Omarion at it.
I love Omarion.
Omarion and Rain have a song together called Man Up. And the only version of that music video is in about 100p on YouTube. So it's very hard to watch. I couldn't even really tell if it was Rain at first, but the song is pretty good.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to take like a minute to talk about his US show because this was not the first time that he performed in the US. He had previously performed at the Hollywood Bowl KMF show that we usually go to. But this particular Madison Square Garden show was a huge deal. He was previously like in leading up to it, he was interviewed by the New York Times, and he had been studying for about a year both the language and the culture of the United States to try and like prepare, because he says in the article that I read, like, the US is the dominant music market. I would really like to see an Asian make it there, and I would like that Asian to be me. So
well, there you go.
So JYP had this like ridiculously meticulous business plan that had plans for an English album that never happened. And the New York show was meant to be a taste for the music industry, or for the US music industry, of like who Rain was, just almost like an introduction for all of these other bigger plans.
Right.
The other bigger plans like never particularly panned out in the way I think JYP had.
We talked about this a bit when
we
we did the Wonder Girls movie.
Yes.
Like, he had all these plans around this time that did not shuffle
He
out.
had a lot of plans for the United
US,
States, and they just didn't really work out the way that he wanted them to. And I will say, I don't know if I want to talk about the bad review.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's an interesting
an
interesting thing to talk about. I was interested when you told me about it yesterday.
All right. And it's interesting to note because, so like I said, before the concert happened, he had this whole write-up. It was like a really long article in the New York Times, like, Rain is coming to town. Who is this guy? Look at all the things he's been doing. And in that article, JYP had specifically said that, like, other Korean artists, he thought had sort of failed in the US market because they were just trying to impersonate a US sound. And he specifically wanted to avoid, quote, being another couple of Asian dudes trying to do Black music. So he had tried to make certain things about like the martial arts inspired choreography or the like distinctly K-pop like formats and structures of the songs.
The inherently Korean
the like inherently Korean style to it. And it was the largest ever Korean concert in New York. But a different journalist from the New York Times went to review the show, and it was not a good
They did not
review.
enjoy it.
They did not enjoy it. They called the whole thing nostalgic, like a nostalgia act of Michael Jackson, and he called him like a watered down Justin Timberlake with a quote unquote passable voice.
Oh.
He seemed very annoyed that JYP was the MC, which is fine. JYP is kind of annoying. But it was really a shame because, for one, it felt like that journalist didn't even read the profile that his own newspaper had put out about Rain ahead of time. But he just like chalked him up to all of the things that JYP and Rain were trying not to be. So I was really disappointed to hear that. I obviously haven't seen the show, so I can't say whether or not it was bad. But I can certainly say that like all the stages I've seen up to this point of Rain, like I didn't think were, you know, unpolished or whatever.
No, like we said, he has insane stage presence.
Yeah.
I'm sure that people in there were like going nuts, and it sounds like, it just sounds like a cranky journalist who wanted to dismiss it as like nostalgia, girls screaming, whatever, this is dumb bullshit.
And they really wrote it off as kind of just two Asian dudes trying to impersonate Black music. They like talked about how he pulled girls up on stage who were some of the quote unquote only non-Asian people in the stage or in the arena. And it's like, oh really? Could you see every single person in the arena? Like you knew right off the bat what percentage of races were represented in the audience. Anyway, that made me cranky. He worked really hard, and the U.S. breakout didn't go the way he wanted. Anyway, right after this, in October of 2005, so like during the concert, while he's on tour, he's in another drama. It's called A Love to Kill. It's a KBS drama, 16 episodes. It was pretty popular, won him 4 different awards. Very, very, very upsetting plot synopsis. I do not recommend this drama.
Oh dear.
Unless you want very sad and upsetting stories. Spoiler alert, Rain dies.
Oh.
So
what's this drama called again?
It's called A Love to Kill.
A Love to Kill. Well, I mean, I feel like we know what we're getting into with a title like that.
You don't. Oh. It is wildly complicated, a little Freudian. It's fucked up.
Weird.
Okay? It's a fucked up show. And Rain dies. So don't watch it.
Okay.
But anyway, it was very popular. In September of 2006, after his first tour, he does release a Japanese album and it goes on a Japanese tour. We don't really cover those things. Right. So moving on, October 14th, 2006, he releases his next full studio album. It's called Rain's World. Not Wayne's World.
No, Rain's World.
But Rain's World. And the lead single of this was called I'm Coming, featuring Tableau from Epic High.
Yeah, here we go now. Rain is coming down and it won't stop. 너무나 뜨겁다. 멈추지 않는다. Let me tell you the story. 멈출 것 같아.
Coming down through the rooftop. Before we get into opinions, this album was wildly successful. Within just a few months, it had sold almost 60,000 copies in South Korea, over 1 million in all of Asia. He releases really big albums. So this one, again, has 14 tracks, 3 singles. He did do a repackage of this one in December. And that one had 18 total tracks and 2 different versions. So this was like huge. But I'm Coming, we noted as we were watching it last night that this is the first time he debuts those military outfits.
Right. Because the concert that we that you owned, that we watched, that was a thing I remember. was like the bulletproof vests and the dog tags and the stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
the
I thought that
concert
was
I
like,
own is of this album.
Okay, yes.
So this is, and that's a very iconic Rain look. It, like we said, the vests and the camo. This music video for I'm Coming is 6 minutes long. He's like naked on the ground at
He
the
lands,
beginning.
I think it feels like he's like an angel, like it's like the Terminator, but it's like he's an angel because he just like appears naked with wings in this like bombed out city.
Yeah.
And then he's with his boys in like full camo military gear. And then the choreo of the chorus is exclusively humping.
It's exclusively pelvic thrust.
There's nothing else happening.
He just has his arms, literally his arms open.
and he's slanging.
And he's just throwing it around, and then he lifts up one leg and he throws it in a circle, and it's
Crazy.
wild. It's wild.
And this is the one where the dance break is just
Yes, and then you go to the left. Now the right.
yeah, it's like so crazy. And
Break
there's
it
so
down
much
now.
stomping. Yeah. Anyway.
I do really like the way this will be like a little bit of a trend. I really like the way that Rain uses his female backup dancers. This is the first time that we really have female backup dancers. And he does this in many songs where he uses female backup dancers, but the female backup dancers do what he does. And like the male backup dancers, a lot of the time are like the objects in the choreo, and he and the ladies are doing like the main part of it. So there are lady backup dancers in this. Just a note, it's a good touch. He did release 2 other singles from this. Do you want to play a clip from either of them, or should we just mention them and move on?
I like In My Bed a lot.
I like it too. So let's play a small clip.
this is In My Bed from Rain's World. Yeah, that's just your
just
classic
good
rip your
shit.
shirt in the rain,
Yeah.
come back to me girl song.
His girlfriend cheated on him, and he's too sad for shirts.
Yeah, so he's sad in the music video. He's either sad showering or he's standing next to a very expensive car in beautiful slacks dancing in a puddle. So
Yeah.
there's splashing water.
And
everywhere.
at the beginning, when he's standing next to the car, his button-up shirt is just like very low buttoned. And then at a certain point, he just rips the rest of the button off because he's too sad for shirts. The angsty shower, like,
But my favorite
really got
thing
me.
about In My Bed was we watched a Music Bank performance where
It's in the playlist. Don't worry.
it's very funny because he was doing one of those massive comeback stages where he did all 3 singles. So for the second one, it was just basically like they threw some sheets over a platform and then they had 2 people sit side by side, like holding hands and like leaning their heads together. And then they sat perfectly still for 3 minutes while Rain like looked at them and like sang and like got on his knees and was like, ugh, like pointing at them, but they like did not move. And
They
it was
barely
so
even
crazy.
blinked. They did a great job of
I
being
wondered
a
when it was
tableau,
over if they
like-
were mannequins.
They were so still, but they were too realistic
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
to be mannequins. But I actually changed my mind because we're almost at the end of our
Right.
first
So we
episode.
gotta
So
play
I
with you
do want to
too.
play a clip of this With You song because it is a good song, but the music video needs explanation, and I will explain it.
Okay.
I love this song. It's just like,
I thought it was so fun, and
So
I
fun.
wrote in my notes. This is when I wrote in my notes, like he makes silly faces with like hard eyes, because in every stage he like used every opportunity to like make a little. He just makes so many faces.
he just smiles and he winks and he looks so cute.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. But the music video is him with a very goofy haircut as a patient in an insane asylum who falls in love with another patient who also has a very goofy haircut. And that is from his big screen debut, which came out in December of 2006. It's a movie called I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay. And it's a rom-com about 2 patients at an asylum who fall in love.
It's also like very highly respected and is on a ton of movie lists of like, it's a like people.
Yeah, didn't
love
you say
this
it's on
movie.
Netflix?
I don't know if it is at the moment.
It was.
I should have checked,
at a
but it
certain
was
point.
at a point like constantly suggested to me by Netflix.
It's very popular. It like won an award at the Berlin International Film Festival, and it was also played at the Hong Kong Film Festival. So people really liked this movie. And it is a rom-com, so I think unlike A Love to Kill, like I might feel a little better about recommending this one.
Right.
But I haven't seen it. But anyway, I've seen clips of it because of the music video.
Sure.
So, to promote this album from December 2006 to October 2007, Rain went on his Rain's Coming World Tour. This is the concert DVD that I own. And the cover of it is literally him shirtless in the rain, wearing a hat. You can't even see his face. It's just abs.
Right.
And that is pretty accurate to what the concert is.
Yes.
There's a lot of rain, like fake rain on the stage.
I remember when we watched that concert thinking that he might have been a Zion T type, that he doesn't show his eyes. He's not.
Yeah.
But like that concert gives the impression that he might, because he's doing such like low hat drama.
And so many sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah. There is, although, one strange tonal break in the middle where do you remember when he brings out all the kids on stage and they do that like weird choral song? I don't even know what the song is. I can't think of it because I didn't rewatch the DVD like I thought
mean,
I
that
would.
sounds like a thing that
But that happens.
happen.
At a certain point, everybody's wearing white and there are small children on the stage. Anyway, there were 13 shows in 11 countries. Several of the United States and Canadian shows that were originally planned ended up being canceled at the last minute, which led to some legal drama between Rain, JYP, and the concert venues, as far as like, you know, whose fault it was that the shows got canceled, because one of the shows got canceled like a few hours beforehand.
Oh, damn. That's not good.
But we have talked about this in a previous episode, and to be perfectly honest, I don't remember which one it was. It was either the concert episode or maybe a legal drama episode. I fucking don't remember.
I don't know.
The point is, we've talked about it before. The shows that were in question were, I think, in Hawaii. One of them was in Hawaii. U.S. court ruled that JYP had to pay, and Korean court ruled that they didn't have to pay. Who ended up paying? I don't know. But whatever, it was resolved. On May 25th, he played at the Tokyo Dome for this tour. And this was a really big deal because he was the first Korean artist to ever perform at the Tokyo Dome. And we talk about the Tokyo Dome a lot because now that is a staple of a K-pop act. Like, you know you're really big when you get to play the Tokyo Dome.
Because it's all those,
It's
the
huge.
Japanese domes are huge. Like
The
75,000
Tokyo, I was just going to say,
whatever.
it seats like 75,000 people. In total, his whole tour sat 250,000 people.
Wow.
So huge deal. And in April of 2006, while he was on this tour, Time magazine named him as one of the 100 most influential people of the year. And he beat Stephen Colbert by just one position. And so we talked about this whole scenario in our
The K-pop in America episode. There's clips and everything. So go back for that whole story. It's a fun one.
It's a fun one. There's a parody music video. Stephen Colbert is a comedian and he like does a great job. And Rain has a really good sense of humor about all of it. So he got to like make another little U.S. appearance or whatever. Be in the U.S. mainstream media for a little while. But that right there, so I'm going to end it there because in 2007, so after his Rain's Coming World Tour, it comes to a mutual decision with JYP to leave JYP. However, Rain and JYP insist that their relationship as like mentor-mentee remained incredibly supportive. And they are truly bros, and we're going to talk a lot more about their relationship later on. But I would like to end it like as he leaves JYP. I just want to read this
that
quote.
thing. Yeah, you can. You should.
Because it like honestly made me cry, you guys. Their relationship is really fucking sweet. Okay. So JYP once told a radio show, quote, I was always wondering whether B understood what I told him because he never replied, even when I scolded him. One day, I entered B's room and ended up breaking into tears. B, who was then an aspiring singer, was poor at expressing his emotions verbally to his older colleague, but what Park discovered in B's room was a wall covered with Post-it stickers. Every single sticker was filled with notes of what Park had told and advised him. B had written down every single piece of advice his older friend had given him and had been doing his utmost to correct his mistakes and improve his skills.
Oh, that is very sweet.
It's really sweet. And JYP, he like recently had an Immortal Songs episode and he like still talks so highly of Rain. Their relationship's really cute.
Yeah.
It's really
I think
sweet.
I know. I think JYP is like a corny motherfucker and like he embarrasses me and I think he tries to insert himself into things too much, but
he seems
all
like
of
a
his
good
artists
guy.
like literally just like call him Hyung. Like he seems like he runs
A family
business as opposed to, something more corporate-y. And I don't, you could argue whether or not that's healthy or not. But point is, the people who work for him seem to like him a lot, even though I find him embarrassing. He takes care of them, and that's important.
He does. And as Rain decided to try something new, JYP supported him in his endeavors, which we'll talk more about next week.
All right, so we'll call that as the halfway point.
Yes.
And to cap off the episode, to make it like a regular episode, we have to watch something. So we saved It's Raining and we're going to watch it now.
Yeah.
All right.
So again, It's Raining was from his 2004 album, It's Raining. And this is the one, over 1 million copies in 7 different countries. Hugely successful.
All right, here we go. Rain, It's Raining. Okay, so there's like a semi and a motorcycle on a lot of motorcycles.
Yes, this is so silly. Well, you'll see what's inside the truck.
Okay. But
So,
they're
yeah,
like
there's, like,
tailing a truck. Oh, Rain's
inside the truck. This is supposed
There's
to
like
be
a
his,
mirrored bathtub and
it's like a
clothes.
closet, but it's like an 18-wheeler.
Oh, that chest.
So this is supposed to be like his tour bus, I guess. But
it's like
being
he's like
shipped like cargo.
an alien. But it's like he's like an alien. They're trying to sneak into the Oh, DJ. Okay, through a vent into a club. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing this is a long one. I should have looked. Oh, take that shirt off.
He's got to change. Yeah, this is a 5-minute music video again. Look at that!
Oh my God, the Britney outfit. Okay, so he's wearing a little leather page boy cap and a tiny cropped vest with low-rise jeans and a big belt buckle like Britney Spears in 2002.
And he has his
One
arm
glove.
cuffs. No, both arm cuffs.
Yes, elbow length.
So
glove
now he has
cuffs.
taken center stage of this club and he's breaking it down with his Britney crop top vest, an enormous belt buckle. But I also wrote, as I watched because I forgot and I watched this music video, and I wrote, is this the outfit Shakira wears in Whenever, Wherever? Because she also wears a leather vest.
Right.
But looking at it now, I feel like it's a little more Britney. First of all, there's the breathing.
There's the breathing.
But there's also a lot of top ass curve coming out of those jeans.
They're so
There's
low rise,
a lot
and he's doing like Shakira butt rolls. This choreography is like much more feminine than I remembered it.
Yeah.
And he also at one point does like the Mick Jagger like chicken walk. There's a lot happening in it, and I don't know if it's the outfit. If the outfit makes it look
feminine?
more than it is or what, but the outfit is so much.
The outfit is a lot. All of his backup dancers are wearing it too.
But their vests are a little longer.
Yes, their vests are
They
longer
look
and their
longer.
pants aren't as low.
Oh yeah, so at this point, Raina's just performing on a little mirrored stage for a lot of bored club patrons. They keep cutting to them and they're like, eh.
No, they're supposed to be speechless.
Oh, I see. Okay, now they're cheering, but
Yeah.
before they were cutting to them and they were still just sitting on the couch like, what?
It's because they didn't know. They like couldn't process the rain. He has long hair. We didn't really mention this, but up this whole time throughout his career, he has like long, feathery, like early 2000s mullet hair.
Yeah. The anime mullet that we talk about, or sweepy bangs.
That move!
Yeah. That like rocket. Yes. It's just so, there's so much. Oh, now the girls are up on him. Oh.
Yes.
And here's
it
the
has
Michael
to rain
Jackson thing
inside.
where he breaks stuff and goes, yeah. Okay, now there's water to stomp in.
Because it's raining, baby. I feel like before I really knew anything about Rain, all I knew about him was that all of his songs had his own name in
Yeah.
them. I was like, they're all just puns of rain. It's raining, rain's coming, Rainism. And he's just like, they're all soaking wet.
And this like thriller move, that's really crazy.
Also, were his pants leather? They must be very heavy now that they're wet.
Yes.
And now the crowd's going crazy.
They loved it.
Look at that top of the ass.
Yeah, there's top booty for sure.
Now he's back in his mirrored cargo van.
Ew, I would not, and I wanted to sit on
Ugh.
like that white leather plastic couch. Oh wow, that ended so
That
fast.
ended so abruptly.
That was shocking.
That was It's Raining.
All right. So since we still have more rain to cover, do you have like a regular old weekly recommendation? Because I for sure have some things I can.
There's
squeeze
not
in.
rain related?
Yeah.
No, I only have rain related recommendations because that's kind of all I did this week.
Okay.
But I will recommend one thing because I think that we didn't really mention it in the episode. But one of the things that made Rain so popular is that he does have this very like sexy, serious stage presence. But his off-stage persona is very cute. And that is like what sealed the deal for all the fans. Like as soon as they saw him like smile and be sweet, they were like, oh, wow, this guy can do everything. So I recommend a clip which is simply titled and easy to find. It is, quote, Rain rips his pants. So if you type that into YouTube, you will see a little like 2.5 minute clip from an old episode of Strong Heart, where they ask him to do a little dance, and he it's from actually a little bit later in his career, so like it doesn't line up with what's in this episode, but it's really fucking cute. He rips his pants and they make him dance anyway, and he's just the sweetest, and he gets his guns out, and it's really fun. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, great.
You can make one that's not about rain.
Yeah, I just need to talk. I just need to talk about the GOT7 album because it has.
You know what? It's JYP related, and therefore
I think it's fine.
we can do it.
I thought that, once again, a thing we've said on this podcast many a time is that like GOT7 is always there right at the moment that you need GOT7 to be there. And last week, GOT7 was like there right when I needed them to be there. So they have a new album and it's wonderful. And there's a song on it called Love You Better. And it is such a good fucking song. I like the first time I heard it, I like lit up like a tree and I was like, this song?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like definitely, I think the single, I think I said was like my least favorite of like their last 4 singles, but all that said, I still really like it.
Yeah, it's called Not by the Moon.
Yes.
It has a really dramatic music video, but all of the looks that they're wearing are really beautiful right now. They're doing like, we've said this before, we love like a soft GOT7 aesthetic.
Yes.
And this has like a lot of lace and like frills, and JB's hair is so long. and
JB
it's so
is not
beautiful.
allowed to cut his hair
And in
ever again.
every stage, he has it pinned over one ear. He has it in a half ponytail, or he has it in his face.
And
it
he's
just
like
looks so good
absolutely
every time.
perfected his hairography.
Oh my God.
Like he's not allowed to cut it. He's just not. And also I'm like very shook by like Bam Bam's very short kind of
Super
buzz
bleach.
cut.
I
Super
loved
bleached. He's like
it.
really really rocking it.
Yeah,
Jackson looks fucking amazing.
God.
Jin Young, like, I mean, truly, they all. It's just like a lot of Luke.
Yeah. All of them except for Bam Bam have, well, JB's hair is sort of like dark blue right now, but everybody's hair is dark except for Bam Bam's. And like Jackson's just like natural beauty. Mark has his like floofy little perm. They just all look so
They
good.
all look really, really good. And the album is great.
Yeah.
I think I texted you when it first came out that like, don't forget, it's still got a lot of like skirt and like
It's still got
auto-tune in
7
it.
and it's still
7.
JYP.
But it's really good and it's exactly what I needed. And there have been amazing stages and fun relay videos. And like also, obviously, just for the people who don't follow on social media, and it's been a while, I obviously really, really loved the A-Pink comeback. It's so fucking good. The album is wonderful. They're the best. I'm so glad they're still around and still killing it so hard. So if you somehow have not checked out the new A-Pink stuff, Dum Da Dum is the name of the
single and the album, right?
The album is called Look, actually.
Oh, okay.
So that's easier to look for actually on Spotify. Because it's another nonsense title.
Yes.
Which are hard to look up sometimes.
Dum da da dum.
But yeah, in current K-pop comeback world, A-Pink and GOT7 are really holding it down for me right now. So
Yeah.
I just had to mention it on the pod.
And I do appreciate, like, you know, some older acts coming back, still giving us stuff. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, it's important. And yeah, I'm very glad that so many of y'all took our Changmin advice
Yes.
after like the last, whenever we said that last.
Very glad to see so many people up and active in the Discord. We've got so many channels on there now.
Yes. So please come join us there if you haven't. And also, just in case anyone was wondering, we did buy tickets for SM Beyond live shows,
Yes,
but we're
we
not
did.
watching them live because we are old. We're going to coordinate times to watch them with friends later. But if you were wondering if we were watching those, we are, and we'll probably
Yes.
talk about it on the show.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Can't wait to see the Super M one. Can't wait to watch the Wavy one.
Yeah, that one's, I'm very excited
Very
about that.
excited about the Wavy one because I haven't actually gotten to see them. And somebody called me out on Discord. I just have to say it. Somebody called me out on Discord that was like, and now I have to find it. Because I don't understand it. That's why. Where is it? It's in the concert chat. Okay, someone said that I have been doing some false advertising with her quote, my son 10 and his sexy friend Lucas that needs to be switched. And first of all, it's my son 10 and his hot friend Lucas.
Yeah,
Second of all, I don't understand what you mean by that.
I think they mean because we haven't watched the concert yet. The 10 is now serving pure sexy looks, and Lucas's bass go boom song is very sun-like.
Sure, Lucas
So that's
is adorable.
that's my assumption.
I never said Lucas wasn't adorable, but that doesn't make him my son. 10 is a slut, and that's my baby, okay?
Right.
That's my son.
Right.
So I never said 10 wasn't sexy, but I'm his mother, and it's not appropriate for me to comment in
Right.
that way. But I love my slutty, mischievous boy,
Okay.
and he makes me proud every day.
And his blonde hair is so cute.
And his blonde hair is so cute, and it's so long. It's just in his face where I like it.
It's so cute. Also, one more off-topic recommendation, and then we'll close this episode out for today. Is that if y'all didn't watch the Super M like stay-at-home Lady Gaga concert live thing, you have to go watch it. Super M with you. It was like, it's like joy, like 4 minutes of perfect. Talk about forced joy. Like,
Yeah.
go watch Super M sing to you. You will just giggle and there's
Go on YouTube and just look up Super M with you, and they do like a Zoom call concert where they're all in different rooms doing different things. Kai's voice sounds amazing.
Yes.
His singing voice sounds so
He
good.
sounds so cute.
He's also building a Lego ship,
Yes.
and it's really adorable. Taemin is cooking, and he like spills
But he's
the
not
salt
cooking because
everywhere.
we know he cannot cook. He's like spilling salt
He
and sort of
spills
cutting
salt,
things.
and then he just
holds
like dances
bread.
with bread.
He's not cooking. We know he can't cook. We know he can't.
And Lucas is in the gym
So
working
funny.
out, and he's
Not
like,
working
singing
out. He
his
like can't
line.
hold
No,
the.
he
He's like,
can't.
oh no.
He like tries to do ab workouts.
immediately
as he
regrets
sings
his
line, and you
choice.
can see the pain in his face, and it's just
Baekhyun sounds. Oh God, he's so good.
he sounds really good. Upcoming comeback.
Yeah,
That's coming soon. Very excited.
all these things are exciting. So, okay, we'll go for now. We'll be back next week with the rest of Rain's career.
The second half.
If you have any comments about this first half or questions or other things for us, we can be found at AMA K-Pop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, AMA K-Pop pod at gmail.com for emails, 181 AMA K-Pop 5 for a voicemail. We haven't gotten any voicemails in a while.
Actually, we got one today about
we
the
did?
Super Am concert.
Look at
but
that.
I didn't listen to it because I haven't watched
No
it yet.
spoilies. Okay, well, never mind. But still, call the voicemail anyway. Our Discord, AMA K-Pop, links in all of our bios for Discord. Ask Me About K-Pop, the podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was
AMA
gonna
K-Pop on Spotify.
And
We'll-
our YouTube channel now has a Rain playlist that has music videos and stages for literally every single song that we've even mentioned by name.
Yes, so that's all there for watching, as well as other playlists from other episodes. You can listen to the show on YouTube if you want. There's some reaction videos on there. Anyway, those are all the places to find us, and we'll be back next week with the rest of Rain. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.